Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another video. And obviously by the title you can probably tell that this is a different type of video that I will be making today. Basically, it's gotten to the point where I have realized that the reason why I've not ever really loved editing or genuinely liked editing is because of my editing software. And in today's video I will be going over every single thing that I can really show you guys that makes my editing experience a pain in the butt. One of the biggest reasons why I'm making this video is because in the past, over the years with my channel, I've made many videos and many community posts about how I was saying that I'm going to be quitting YouTube or that I'm taking a break. And the biggest reason for why I would take breaks and why I would quit for a few months is because of the editing. The editing has been the biggest reason for all of that, and this video is really just to show you guys why editing is a pain in the butt for me and the struggles I encounter on a daily basis while editing. So yeah, and to be clear, this video is mostly for informative purposes. It's not necessarily going to be the most entertaining video, but I feel like it's very necessary for me to express my feelings towards Filmora and towards this editing software that I've used for many years. I'm actually using the older version of Filmora. It's called Filmora 8. I'm not sure if it's called Filmora 8 or if it's just Filmora, because there's a new version called Filmora 9, but this version is Filmora 8.7.5. And if I check for an update here, I am on the latest version. As you can see, it actually says the version right here when I boot up the software. As you can see, it's version 8.7.5. I bought it for $59.99, I'd say 2 to 3 years ago. Let me actually find the exact date when I downloaded it. Alright, so it actually appears that I downloaded this on April 18th of 2017. This is the setup file. This one right here is actually Filmora 9, the free trial that I downloaded on May 11th. So don't worry about this one. This is the one that matters. I've had this software for a little bit over 3 years now. That is how long I've been using this. So that's roughly 1,000 days that I've had this software for. I've created hundreds of videos with it. So basically in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the problems I have with it and what makes my editing experience with Filmora very bad, very laggy, and just not fun to edit with in general. So let's go ahead and get into it. So to start off, a very common problem I have with this editing software is the fact that sometimes my audio from my actual recording does not sync up at all with these little squiggles here on the actual audio track. I'm actually going to go ahead and even separate the audio from the actual recording here. So basically these squiggles that you see on this track right here should be where the audio is, or like where I'm talking in the video. But this is a prime example. This is one of my Fortnite item reviews videos that I'm currently showing you guys here. And basically, I'm going to go ahead and play the video about right here. As you can see, there's no audio squiggles on this section of the recording. But once I hit play, you're actually going to hear some audio, which should not be the case. Let's take a look. Now guys, this is a green pickaxe worth 500 V-Bucks, and it's currently part of the So you guys just heard all that audio, both game audio from the background music and me talking, but there's no squiggles here. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit play again here, and this is the part where there are audio squiggles right here, but you will find that there's like no significant audio whatsoever from me talking. So let's go ahead and take a look again. Pick Troopers set. And this pickaxe actually did come out in Season 8, as you can see here. But I just found this in my locker the other day, and I decided to make a review on it. So as you can see, there were points in that clip where I was talking and where I was not talking, and yet the audio squiggles, there's probably a better name for these, but that's what I call them, they did not sync up to the audio at all. And this makes it very annoying for me to edit sometimes. This doesn't happen all the time. They occasionally do sync up quite well, but this is a prime example of when they don't. And this is very annoying for editing, because I have to like literally watch every part of the recording to find what audio I need to use in the video. I can't just skip around to where I see audio squiggles and just cut from there. I have to literally watch the whole thing, and this takes up a lot more time. It's very tedious, and yeah. So I actually just finished editing the first 40 seconds of this video from this chunk of recording right here, and I just inserted this second chunk of recording, which is 5 minutes and 15 seconds. If I click this, as you can see, we got a lot here that we need to work with, and I just want to show you again that when I click play, these little audio squiggles do not sync up to the actual audio in the recording. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Alright guys, so I'm currently in a game here, as you guys can see, and this is what the machete pickaxe looks like in game. Now obviously this is sort of like a blade. So like obviously there's some points in here where there's no audio squiggles and everything, but I mean if you just look closely you can just tell that the audio does not sync up with how high the squiggles should be. Like whenever I talk, obviously the squiggles should be, you know, apparent, but there's times when I'm not talking and these squiggles are still showing up, and there's other times where I am talking but these squiggles are not showing up. Very annoying, very time consuming. It's just not cool. Okay, so another thing I want to point out is the time it takes to simply add transitions in this editing software here. So as you can see, there's a difference here in the bluish color, and then we have like this greenish color right here, and that's because we're going from the Machete 1 clip to the Machete 2 clip, and I want to add a nice transition to make this flow a little nicer. So let's see what this looks like right now. Machete pickaxe with live gameplay. Alright guys, so I'm currently in a game here. So as you can see, I want to add some sort of transition there to make it, you know, flow a little better. So let's go ahead and add the fade transition. So let's add this. However, when I add that, as you can see, there's this little red bar right above this. That's because I have not clicked this button here. It's called render timeline. And after I render this, then this transition will be smooth. Because let's go ahead and play this right now and let me show you what I'm talking about. The Machete pickaxe with live gameplay. All right, let's look at this one more time. Pickaxe with live gameplay. So I don't know if you noticed, but when you're looking at the screen and where this white bar is, along with the audio of the video, there's some clear lag right there that's happening, and that's because of that red bar and because I have not clicked this button. So that means every single time I add a transition, I have to click this button, and I have to wait roughly 5 to 10 seconds depending on which transition I'm using. As you can see, it says it's creating a preview render, and boom, it just finished up. And now if I click play, with live gameplay. Alright guys, so I'm currently, it's a lot smoother. It's a much better transition in between clips. However, it is very annoying when you're just trying to add a simple transition that it takes about 10 seconds of waiting for you to add that transition. It really just like interrupts my editing flow. It just causes me to just like be sitting here simply waiting because I'm trying to dial in and focus on my editing, but these little spurts of lag and just all this stuff I have to wait on, it really just gets in the way of my flow, and it really makes editing more of a tedious experience rather than you know, not as bad of an experience. It's actually quite fun editing with a non-laggy software, and this software is not laggy when I first start editing with it on a day-to-day basis, but after a few minutes of editing, then it starts to lag, and then I start to get very annoyed, which is very understandable in my opinion. Also, when I'm like cutting the text, as you can see, like this is where I want this text to end and this point in the video to end here. I want to cut this, right? So if I make the cut, then this thing goes back to a red line because I have interfered, or I've made basically a hole here in the text. So we have the same exact text right here. I've just simply made a cut, but now it's a red line. So say I delete like this part right here, if I just make another cut and I delete this part, and I don't want that much text in there. Is it going to delete? There we go. The lag took over there. But now I still have a smaller amount of text, but I have to re-render the text again, which wastes even more time, and it's just annoying because it takes so much time to just wait. I'm just sitting here waiting. There we go. Okay, now I can continue editing. It's just another thing that just slows me down, and I think this is the reason why I've made so many videos saying that I do not like editing. I've never really like sat down and thought about like how much lag there was until I'm making this video. Like I thought lag during editing was, I guess, just a part of it, and that's what made it not nearly as fun for me, and that's, I think, the reason why I've really just never loved editing. And I think with the right software like that doesn't lag at all and makes the editing process smooth, that would really change my thoughts about editing, and it would be a much better experience for me. However, I have been looking into different editing softwares, and I just don't see a point in me dropping a few $100 on an editing software that I'm not even sure is going to solve the problem, and I really just don't know what I'm going to do at this point. As of right now, I think I'm just going to continue using this software, but this video really just shines the light on how much of a process it is and how tedious it is to edit with this Filmora 8 software. Okay, so now I just want to show you guys another example of how the audio in my recording files tends to get a little bit off track. In this case, I'm actually editing the first clip of this video, so I'm actually editing this video while you're watching, well, not while you're watching it, but I'm editing the video. Yeah, you guys get what I mean. So basically, this is the audio track right here. I'm actually going to go ahead and just separate this just so you guys can see it a little better. better. But obviously where the little squigglies are, that's where the audio should be. And in this case, the audio actually does roughly match where the recording is supposed to be. In that other example, the audio squiggles right here, they did not match up whatsoever to the actual recording. Now these do, but the problem is I've been editing for like about a minute and a half to, you know, almost 2 minutes into this first clip here. So that means my editing software has been open for a little bit. And what tends to happen is after I've been editing for a few minutes in, the audio, when it is actually matching up, it actually does seem to lag behind here. So as you can see, there's this little squiggle right here, right? So the audio should start right about there. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and play this, and right as my voice starts to sound, then I'm going to go ahead and pause the edit here. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I'd say, so literally, like, that's a big gap right there, and it really started to make noise, I'd say, about right here, because there was obviously a little bit of reaction time when for me actually to hit the space bar. But yeah, the audio is actually in sync here, but it's just like these squiggles should be moved up about a ½ inch to right here. When I first started editing this video, like the audio squiggles and the actual like sound would sync up perfectly. Like right here is when this little audio would start. Like when I was first editing this video, the audio syncs up. Like as you can see, this first little clip or this first little part of the video, the audio squiggles go like right to the edge of that white line. But you notice as you keep going through my clips, you'll see that there's a little bit of gappage right there between the squiggle and the line. And as you keep going further in my video, as you can see like right here at the 1:10 mark, there's significant gappage there between the squiggle and this line. Let's go ahead and play this clip and you'll see, all right, so it actually, that audio plays right away, but if I zoom in on this little part here, there's a significant gap here where there should not be any audio, but right as I hit play, all right, so there's audio, and that is something that really takes up a lot of my time when I'm editing, because, you know, I like in this case I do have the audio sort of synced up with the squiggles, but it's not exactly where it should be. Like the squiggles don't match up, so then I'm like adjusting this white bar a lot longer than I need to. Like when I'm trying to find the right spot to cut, it should be right here, right? Because that's where the audio squiggle is. However, if I back it up a little bit, so I'd say audio starts playing right there, and that should not happen with an editing software. And this is yet again another thing that slows me down and kind of ruins my mojo when it comes to editing. Okay, so I was actually just editing this very video earlier today, and while editing I took a break, and now I'm coming back, and look what happens when I open the file for the video that I'm currently editing. So if I open it up, as you can see, the program is starting up, everything's fine, but like when I open it up, all right, everything's loading in, and you'll see that this track begins to load in, like with all the edits I've made for this one video that you're actually watching right now. But one thing I want you guys to notice is I just opened this up, and there's a big fat red line across this entire thing, and you guys know what that means. If there's a red line on here, we gotta make sure we render the timeline, right? Well, like this stuff was already rendered when I already had the program opened a few hours ago. So this is really dumb. Like all this stuff was already rendered a few hours ago, and now I have to re-click this render timeline button, and because there's roughly 10 minutes of footage on here, this render is going to take quite a bit of time. It's going to take 3 minutes and 30-ish seconds right there, but like that's another 3 minutes and 30 seconds that I have to wait on my editing software to render something that is like all of this has already been rendered earlier in the day, and I should not have to re-render it, but I do with this software, and that's just more time that's wasted, more time I'm just sitting here doing nothing. And yeah, all this stuff, like all this time adds up, you know, like the 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, 3 minutes here, it just all adds up and really can waste a lot of time during each edit, and for every video, you know, the time really does add up. So yeah guys, that about does it for this video. Obviously I am recording the outro right now. I just finished editing this entire video, as you can see on my screen. But yeah, I hope this gives you a better sense of what I go through on a not really daily basis, but more of like a whatever type of basis I'm uploading videos on, like, because obviously my upload schedule is kind of all over the place right now. But hopefully this gives you a better sense of what I really go through and what is wrong with the Filmora 8 software. If you have any softwares that you'd like to recommend to me, be sure to drop a comment down below, and I'll be sure to look into every single software that I get recommended, just so I can weigh out my options a little bit. But yeah, like I said, that is going to wrap it up for this one. I will talk to you all later. Have a fantastic, wonderful, beautiful day. And guys, with that being said, peace out. Also be sure to like and sub. Thanks.